morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you wonderful people. I hope you're having a better than great kind of day today. It's Max Abilian with another great day where I'm blessed and highly favored. Man, it is Monday. Thank God it's Monday, guys. I'm so excited. Hey, look, I'm out here. I'm enjoying this beautiful weather outside, hanging out with my son and the family this morning. And it kind of goes into the story that I'm going to talk to you guys about today. This is going to be a little bit of a longer video, but over the past couple of weeks, I've been going through some things that have really drawn me closer into God. And I'm so excited to share that with you this morning. So about 4 weeks ago, I was sitting at my desk and all of a sudden I just got this overwhelming message from God. I felt that he was talking directly to me and he said, Max, I need you to put in your notice. Really, I was listening to a message given by Steve Harvey. He was talking about how nobody's ever got enough money. Nobody's ever going to have everything perfectly lined up. You got kids, you've got responsibilities, you got a house, you got all of these different things, and nobody ever seems to be obedient to God just because of all these things hanging over their head. And I got to thinking, I said, is that me? I just got to thinking, am I that guy that I'm not going to make the jump or be obedient to God because I think that I've got all these responsibilities and God's not going to provide me. I don't know where in the Bible it says that he is not going to provide and take care of me and my family, but I really got to thinking about this. I was like, man, is this God telling me to do something? So I prayed about it and I got to thinking and I looked in my daily planner that I do every day. And I sat there and I looked at it. And one of the things that I wrote in it earlier that week, so this was 4 weeks ago, I wrote this on Monday or Tuesday. I wrote down in my planner and it said, anything not done because of fear will disrupt the mission. And that kind of sat with me because I said, would fear stop me from doing this? Absolutely. Fear would have stopped me from putting in my notice at my current 9-to-5 job. But I thought to myself, if God's telling me to do this, I need to be obedient. I need to make the move. I need to be obedient to God and jump because I know that he's got me. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go to the gym, right? I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to clear my head and I'm going to take a little bit of time. And if I still feel the same way when I get back, then I'll put in my notice, right? So I went to the gym and when I got there, I saw a buddy of mine and he walked up to me. He said, hey man, I don't know why, but I just have this really strong feeling and urge that I need to give you this book. And I said, oh, okay, what's the book called? He said, it's called You're New Now. And it's about the transition of going into a new season and how you can navigate this time of trusting God and how moving into a new season can seem one way, but really if you trust God, he can turn it so beautifully. And I immediately sat back and went, wow, God, okay, this is what you're telling me to do. This is really what you're calling me to do. You're telling me to put in my notice, and it's very clear, it's very obvious. You have affirmed me. This is what I'm going to have to do. So tell you what, I'm going to go back and I'm going to do it. So I went back to the office and I typed it up, signed the letter, gave it to the general manager and said, I'm being obedient to God. I'm moving. I'm following what God's telling me to do. And of course, you have that question of, well, what's next? Where are you going? What's going on? Well, before we get to what's next, there's a very important part of this that it's a big part of the story. So I did not talk to my wife before I went home and did this. And I know some people are like, man, you really messed up there. Like that's your wife, you have to talk to your wife about these things. But guys, honestly, I felt that God was telling me to do this and I felt confident in God and saying, God, I know this is what you're telling me to do. If I give myself too much time, I may talk myself out of it. I'm a man of action. I need to do it right now because if not, I may have time to talk myself into a different answer, a different outcome. So I did it. And of course that man, what is my wife going to think? What is she going to say? Is this going to be something that she supports? And so after I put in my notice, I came home and I sat down with my wife and I said, hey, look, baby, I did something big today. I decided to go ahead and put my notice in at my 9-to-5. And that holding my breath moment of what is she going to say? She looks at me and she says, I support you. I trust you. I know that everything's going to be fine. And I know that this will work out and we'll be just fine. And that immediate sigh of relief was just, look, guys, to have the support of your spouse is like no other feeling I have ever had. It is truthfully so heartwarming, and it is honestly just it's a very strong feeling whenever you have the support of your spouse. So if you have a spouse or you have somebody in your life that you care about, show them love and support on their decisions, because honestly, sometimes like that could be the thing that helps them and keeps them going. So after that was said and done, I had the weekend thinking about this decision, and I went to my men's group, talked about it, prayed about it, and really spent a lot of time asking God, show me how to navigate these next few steps. And so, of course, as time starts going on, I start to kind of look for different jobs, look for different opportunities. I said, God, where do you want me? Just show me. I would be more than happy to go. Just show me. And so as I was looking, nothing really stuck out to me. And I started to get this sense of like, I need to go to God about this. And I did. And I went to God and I said, God, what do you want me to do next? God, where do you want me next? And I heard him say, I want you to be still. I want you to be still and understand that, one, I am God. Two, I need you to work on the faith and the trust that you have in me. He told me, he said, I don't think you've got a lot of faith and trust that I'm going to take care of you. And it was so interesting because I do, right? I do. I feel like I do. I feel like I've got the trust in God to say, God, I know that you've always got me. You've always had me before. But guys, I'm talking about that walk on water type of faith. I'm talking about that faith where there is no backup plan. There is no, okay, this is how this will work out. I'm talking about just going these next couple of weeks to work out my notice and be still and take in the moment. That right there was, it sank in, because as most of you would think, a lot of times you either leave a job because you got something lined up, or you leave a job and then you immediately go start looking for another job, or you can do the third option, which is be still and trust God, right? For most of us, I'm an entrepreneur, right? I love business. I've got ideas coming in a million miles an hour all the time, every day. They are constant, nonstop. I have things all the time coming. They're just, I love to talk about business and strategizing. So what that does is that tells me that when I get myself in a situation, I can create. I can create stuff to get me out of situations. I can rely on my own self to get myself out of situations. I can do these things and it will pull me out of the situation. Well, guys, I'm here to tell you that sometimes God is saying, I don't need you to rely on your own understanding, or I don't need you to rely on you to get you out of the situation. How about for a change, we rely on me? God says, how about sometimes we rely on me? And we rely on the things that I have planned for you, and you submit all of your wants and your needs and your agenda to me. I remember getting these thoughts and just saying, God, this whole time it's been about my agenda. It's been about me creating my agenda, whether it was pushing a business, whether it was what do I want in this life, and what do I want to create? When in reality, God tells us, deny yourself, pick up your cross, and follow me. You see, if you've been watching my videos, I've been like the things that I've been working through, I've talked about each day. So if you've been watching the videos, you've seen how I've kind of progressed through this situation, because it started out with making the jump, putting in the notice, making the jump. And then I got to the point where he was like, okay, now I need you to be still. I don't need you to find anything. I don't need you to create. I don't need you to do anything but be still. That requires some trust and faith. I'm talking some walk on water type of faith, because I've got a house, I got babies, I got a wife to take care of. We've got responsibilities. We got to make that happen, right? No, guys. God told me specifically, I need you for a change to rely on me and nothing but me and only me. He said, I need you to rely on me alone. I'm going to put you in a situation to where there is only one way that this is going to work. I'm going to make sure that you know no way that you have created or no way that you can think of is going to get you out of this other than relying on me. You talk about taking your faith and your trust to another level. It surely did mine. Because when I went and I was talking to people about this situation, I would say, God told me to make the jump. He told me to jump out on faith. And I did. And then he told me to be still. He told me to not move. He said, I need you to be still. I need you to not do anything. I need you to be in the moment, be still, and find peace. And how do you find peace? You give it to God. You say, God, I trust you. I trust that you'll take care of tomorrow. I promise to be the best version of myself right here, right now. And that's all that I can do. That's all that I'm going to do. I'm going to be the best version of me right here, right now. I'm not worried about tomorrow. It's not my responsibility. He showed me that. He said, I've got tomorrow. I need you to be the best version of you right now, because what ends up happening is we get so worried about tomorrow that we can't even focus on right now. We forget about right now. We don't even see the value that there is in right now. Like, we're living in a blessing right now, but we're unable to see it because we're worried about tomorrow's blessing, or we're worried about the next day's blessing, or next week's blessing, or next month's blessing. We're so worried about the blessings that are to come that we're missing the blessing that we're currently in. So I begin to now say that I'm in week 5. I ended up working out a 4-week notice. And I began to tell my story to each person that I encountered. I began to kind of tell this story and really just say, God, I'm going to be in this moment and I'm going to share what you're putting me through with anybody and everybody. I'm going to share it with them. I'm going to make sure that they know that whenever this plays out how it's supposed to, that they too can trust you. They too can trust that you are in control and that you've got this and you've got them. All they have to do is trust you. I'm going on week 5 now, and I start school on Wednesday. I no longer am with the company I was with. I'm currently really walking on water now because I'm having to solely rely on God. And, I have been this whole time, but again, he's just growing me one step closer to him and continuing to really kind of build that faith and build up that trust. And I'm all for it. I'm saying, God, I will trust you and I will love you and I will find peace in this time because I know that you're working something. And when the opportunity is right and your timing is right, I will be exactly where I need to be and I'll be available. One thing that I have learned that, is very important is just being available. Being available not just for God's opportunities and God's blessing that he has for you, but being available for other people, being there and being present with other people and allowing them to see the blessings that God is blessing them with. But first, you have to be available to them. So, hey, I hope you all have a great Monday. I love each and every one of you. I appreciate you. And thank God it's Monday.